Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
There's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker.
That's whoa,
mostly around me.
Yeah, Kenya Barris, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
What up?
The first thing you started was money.
That's right. It's a whole lot of money in this
Kenya
motherfucker.
Barris, are you chewing gum?
Yes, let me take it.
Here you go.
Thank you so much, Mom.
What's up, my guy?
What up?
Did you just throw it on the floor?
Put it up there somewhere, Kenya. There you go.
That's for eBay later.
There you go.
That's for eBay later. How's it going? How you feeling?
I feel good. It's early.
I didn't know you had 6 kids. You said he had 6 kids.
6 kids.
I got 6 kids too.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are they? 3? What is?
4 girls, 2 boys. I started 21, 18, 9, 8, 6, and 11 months.
Are they mixed in? Yeah, 11-month-old?
Yeah, 11-month-old.
Right. Mine are 3 girls, 3 boys.
Yeah, and I'm 4 and 2. 4 girls, 2 boys.
4 girls first?
No. Girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, girl.
Okay. I did 3 girls first. And if I had gotten mixed up, I was like, let me try one more time.
Then one more time.
Then I got a boy. I was like, let me go one more time.
Wow.
And then I got another boy. So it was 3 and 3.
That's what everybody keep telling me, but I'm not doing that.
I mean, you got
4 girls?
go one more time.
Nah, I'm good. We good. Me and my wife are A-okay. We old now, man. I'm 44. She be 41 this year. Yeah. We good.
Your youngest is what, 4 or 5?
Just turned 6.
Oh, okay.
And it's completely different. 6 kids, 6 unbelievably different personalities.
Absolutely.
That's
It's
right.
nature over nurture. Like, they are who they are. And, like, they go, like, my oldest daughter is Paris Hilton. Like, she's, like, literally living the life outside. Every time I look up, I'm like, are you in Turks? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you have a final?
How old is she?
She's 23. She's
23.
My middle daughter.
You should know it's probably your credit card.
No, probably.
It is.
It is.
And then my middle daughter was at NYU, transferred to St. Lawrence, and then went to town. She's at USC. Became the youngest person, girl, guy, black, white, to sell a pilot to HBO.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
amazing.
that's dope.
With her and Storm Reed.
Wow.
And she did it on her own. I helped her get the book. It was a book, Salvage the Bone. She did it on her own. Way better writer than I am. It was like, if you help me at all, other than I had to buy the book, so I did help. But, like, it's dope. It's a super dope. My
Congrats,
other daughter
man.
is at Sierra Canyon, basketball player, wants to be a doctor, but, like, right now she's my favorite.
What? You can't say that,
Right
man.
now, it's
Why,
time.
can she play ball?
No, you love all your kids the same. You
Yeah.
like them different at different points. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a stock market annuity. Right now, she's mine.
I would think that the one that's that just sold the pilot to HBO would be.
She was for a long time, but she's,
She's living her life now.
So if one is your favorite, do you do more for them as your favorite?
no, I just fuck with.
You can curse. Go ahead.
I just fuck with that one more right now. Like, she fucks with me, and I fuck with her, and like we're having like a thing.
Do they ever go to a point where they don't fuck with you for a particular reason?
Absolutely, girls in particular.
That's right.
Dude, my girls will do some sneak in the house, get caught, do whatever, be pissed at them, and they'll just stop talking to me. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, do you need anything? Can I get you something?
Yeah.
Like, that girls can just shut you off.
Only thing about girls is like you have mad different wives.
Yes, they
Like
is.
when your wife gets her nails
No,
done,
that's a
your
wild.
daughter
That's
gets your nails
that's a wild. Don't
It's
say
the truth.
different wives.
This is the
Jesus
truth.
Christ.
You
But
buy for one, you got to buy for all of them.
They do. It is, and they're expensive.
Yes. That's
But-
not wives, though.
It's
It's
not
your
wives.
daughters, bro.
You're not wives, but it's like
This guy is
No,
wild.
it's like when my wife goes out and my daughter goes out, it's the same. When they go on vacation, like let's say my daughter and my wife, they both get first class
Wives and
tickets.
daughters, yes.
Yes.
So your sons don't get that?
Nah.
My kids make
Nope.
it hard for me to that. My sons, I can sock my son in the head, right? And he'll be mad, and then seconds later, he'll be like, "So what's on TV?" Like, they forget.
Absolutely.
They're back to being my
Yeah.
daughters. Like, hold grudges. They will, no matter what they've done. Like, they know how to, like.
You gotta have conversations.
They do. They know how to turn it on me. You know what I'm saying?
It's the sensitivity of it.
It is, but my daughters, I know, will be the ones to take care of me
That's right.
when stuff goes bad. Like, they're the ones. My sons will be like, forget. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going outside to play.
Yes, COVID. Like, I won't get water for like days. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
But you know the thing with sons, those sons, they remember everything the father did as they get older. So that's why you got to be careful how you treat your sons.
No, that's
Because
very
they be,
true.
you'll
mic,
be in
Kenya.
therapy holding on to things
That's very true.
that you remember your father did to you, that your father probably thought he was just doing to make you tough, but you really like, I don't fuck with that.
That's very true. And they're very different. Like, you know what I'm saying? One of my sons is like, embraces being a nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's just started high school, and handsome new girls are coming up to him, And he's like, girls were like, hey, Bo. And I'm like, oh, I was like, how do you know? He's like, I don't know. And I was like, nigga, you know how they know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like he started like getting into shoes or whatever. My other son, like into like, he has ADD, like he'll get into like drones, right? And while we're flying the drone, he'll see something else and he'll like put the drone down and he wants to go to that. And my baby son, who's a preemie, I think he's the savior. He's the one that might.
Do you ever know it all yet? Somebody that just, no matter what you say, he knows.
My oldest son, he wants to argue about everything.
How old is he?
He's 15.
Oh, okay. So he's probably into hip hop now. Y'all
getting into, but he also he's like really a science nerd. Like yesterday, NASA sent. You guys see this? NASA sent a rocket up.
Yep.
That was did it hit? Do we know if it
I'm
hit?
not sure if it hit.
Did it move it? So I'm like, yo, there's something they're not telling us.
Producer, talking to the mic, producer.
There's something they're not telling us. There's no way they sent $1 billion. NASA has no money. There's no way they sent $1 billion rocket up to hit an asteroid as an experiment with no having no money unless something's going on they're not telling us.
Well, you know, NASA has the U.S. government has a whole space force that nobody ever talks about. It's another branch of the military.
Yeah.
Why would you need a space force as another branch of the military?
Unless something's going on.
Yes.
So, anyway, but they're all different. They all argue about stuff. It's like a wasp nest. That's why, like, me and their mom breaking up, saying, like, that's the whole hard part. It's hard because I remember whenever we would go out, I started just counting because there was so many of us. I'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how I knew it was the thing. And that's the hard part about, messing in relationships, not in relationships, is like that family unit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part where you see all the like back together, not together, back together, not together thing. That's the hard part.
One last thing about the kids, the savior. Why'd you call your youngest the savior? What does that mean?
Because he just gets it. Everything has soaked in with him. He can throw a spiral. He can throw a spiral when he's 3. He has a real good sense of humor.
He's 3 though.
No, he could throw a spiral. He's 6
how old
now.
is he? Oh,
He's
6
now,
okay.
but he could do a flip. Like I'm saying, he was 3.5 months premature. We thought he wasn't gonna make it, but like something about preemies, like when they start turning on, they turn it on, and I kind of think like he gets everything has soaked. The youngest often do the best.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying, and he has a lot of stuff has soaked down into him.
How do your kids handle dealing with being in the public eye? Like you said, it's the on again, off again relationship, getting divorced, not getting divorced, and then also people recognizing them all the time at school and seeing them.
The oldest
like
one loves it. Mm-hmm. The oldest one loves it. You know what I'm saying?
Oldest boy.
Girl.
Okay.
The oldest girl. The oldest one. The second one hates it because she wants to do everything on her own. You know what I'm saying? She wants to get into school on her own. She wants to have everything until she needs a call. And then and the third one, like, that's my nigga right now. Like she gets it in a way. Like she came in PA. And that's another thing. Like she came and worked this summer when everybody else, and she didn't have to. Mm-hmm. And she like was moving crates, but she also was like, yo, I think you should know that they're spending money these days. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like,
oh wow,
really like this is my family business, and I want to make sure you know what's going on. And I really respected that. And she gives me good ideas. When I was doing Wizard of Oz, like she was like the one like would take notes down. So I think that if the boys don't care, the reason why I started being like it was a problem when I'm like, like what do you want for Christmas? People started being like, nothing. And I'm like, nothing. I'm like, oh, we've done this wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have Christmas used to. I remember the Sears catalog used to like circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't have that. You know what I'm saying? They don't.
And they probably got everything. Like we grew up poor, so it's a difference. Yeah.
We grew up poor, but they don't feel. I really have to feel like none of them really feel spoiled. They really. I'm not saying that because I'm that. They really feel like all I ask for my kids is I want my kids to be happy, and I want them to be kind. I was like, if they're successful, pretty, all that shit is but really what I want is happy, kind kids. I want people to say that they're kind to other people and for them to have a mental happiness to them.
It's interesting, too, about what you said about your second daughter, because I feel like black people have to get comfortable with the idea of nepotism. Like, there's nothing wrong with nepotism.
They do.
We should be happy to have, somebody that is in your family that has your back.
I'm fine with it.
And can set you up nice.
I'm fine with it. Because if you look at white people and they have their kids run their businesses, and they set up into grandkids and great grandkids. So I'm fine with it. Like I try to create businesses for my kids and give them the option. Because like you said, the most important thing as a father is you want your kids to be happy and kind.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, everything else could come. But as long as you're happy, life is better.
But they also still got to work hard once you put them in a position.
100%.
Because
Absolutely.
everyone will look at it as nepotism, and then now they're having to prove
they got to be there early. You know what I'm saying? They got to do the Jordan Bird first one in the gym, last one out. Jay Brown told me something really interesting. He was like, buy your kids a piece of real estate as soon as you can and let it be theirs. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, if you can't buy it all in the same building, he was like, start them now, the stuff that we didn't get. No,
that's right.
So that when it's theirs, when it comes time, they will have like a foundation. And I think that's the stuff that I'm trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Is like, you want them to work, so you don't want to give them everything. But at the same time, you want them to know that they do. Why is it wrong to give them a little bit of a boost?
No, nothing.
You know what I'm saying? I found out that you're supposed to, when your kids are like in 9th grade, get an LLC in their name, you know what I'm saying, and start paying it just a little bit at a time. That way, by the time they're out of college, they have real credit.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I even put cars in my kid's name, and I co-sign for the cars.
Yes.
I do that for my daughter's name, and I do the same thing with the property, bottom of my property. Even with my real estate, I bring my daughter to the sites to see me collect rent, to pick up the different things.
You collect your own rent?
Yeah. Well, no, not anymore. But I want her to see that process of doing it.
Yeah.
So that way she can do it. And now she's in NYU for real estate development because she's into it.
How long you been doing it?
Real estate,
minute.
I've been doing real estate for about, I would say, I bought my first house at 22, but I started really investing when Ye put me onto Detroit, which was had to be like 7-8 years ago.
Are you heavy in Detroit?
I have a house there, a business there, and I sold like 3 houses there.
I heard Detroit is the spot.
Yeah,
I love Detroit. I mean, they've done a lot there. The Pistons are back downtown. They have a Google headquarters. Dan Gilbert has StockX there. He has Rocket Mortgage. He has Quicken Loans. So there's a lot of businesses downtown.
We bought houses for like $20,000.
That's what I heard. I heard for a minute they were giving them away for like $1 or something. Just
$500 on the auction.
Yeah.
And then the auction now starts at $1,000. So they auction off like 2 houses a day.
See, that's the shit we need to know. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, that's the stuff like we all need to sort of talk about and get it. I feel like we are our own best help and we are our own alpha predator. You know
Absolutely.
Like,
because you know what they were doing, a lot of people, and they have to give it to people that actually live in Detroit.
Yeah.
So a lot of us can't afford to fix a house, so they would buy it from the land bank for like $5,000 and sell it to investors for $20,000.
Yeah.
So you think you got a $15,000 come up, but that investor's actually fixing it up and making $200,000-$300,000.
Right.
So it's just a matter of teaching, learning, because that's just things we didn't learn. I didn't know. My parents never invested in anything. They just didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's just we have to teach our generation how to.
Expound on that statement. What you said, we're our best help, but our worst alpha
I think
predators.
together we're our best help. I also think we're our own alpha predator. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes we come at each other in such a way, either through violence, through resentment, through contempt, through, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
Through tweets.
Through tweets. Seriously, all kidding aside, I'm doing Wizard of Oz, and in it, I was doing some carpet, and I was like, I want to put
LGBTQ representation.
They went crazy. Right? You know what I'm saying? And one of my daughters is gay, and like, I had to sit there because I'm like, I don't want her to like see this and feel away. And I was like, people were like, why are you redoing this? First of all, to be a black man to get to say, I'm doing Wizard of Oz, like, is it's insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was not planning on doing it. I was planning on doing Richard Pryor. The casting didn't work out. I wanted this other kid, Cole Bennett, to direct it. Just wasn't quite ready. You know what I'm saying? I was going to write it. When I got a chance to direct it, I was like, I want this to last for 50, 60 years. You know what I'm saying? And I want to tell this. The Wizard of Oz originally was an allegory of like what was going on in the world, right? It was the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl. This is a great time to sort of like take and turn what's going on in our world. You know what I'm saying? And mine is like based in Inglewood. Something happens. She ends up in Underhood, which is like but I want everybody in it. I want from different socioeconomic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, black, brown, Asian.
Reflective of the world.
Reflective of the world. And I feel like to have something reflective of the world that doesn't have LGBTQ characters in there, it feels like that's not reflective of the world. And I'm not saying that that's what it's going to be like. Hello, it's not going to be like that Wizard of Oz.
The Lion was sassy like that, though.
Yeah, he was. And nobody talked about it.
The Lion was stereotypically gay.
Yes.
I was going to ask, you said your daughter was gay. How did y'all have that conversation? Was she comfortable enough to come out and, talk to you? Because that's something that I want to make sure that with all my kids, that they're comfortable to talk to me about anything.
So it was like the sweetest moment. I've never told this on air, and I hope she's okay. Papa, I hope you're okay with this. But it was the sweetest moment. Like she had came home and she's such a sweet kid, and she was away at school, and she was struggling, and she doesn't struggle in school. She was at NYU at Tisch, and we went to dinner one night, and she came and she was like, I think I need to take a semester off. And I was like, no, you don't. I was like, that's some white shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, we don't do that. And she was like, no, seriously, Dad. And like, she kind of like started getting tears in her eyes. I called her mom. And we're like, she was like, I want to shoot it short while I'm away. I'm not going to just like, this is hard for me. I was like, okay. So she takes it off. It's during the pandemic. And she starts having some like, she's like not feeling well. You know what I'm saying? Her hair is coming out. She, you know, was losing weight. And she goes and tests. She has a marker for possible autoimmune.
Damn.
And I was like, I remember it was pandemic. I remember going out and like crying in the hallway because we only had one person at a time. And I was like, God, whatever you need to do, give it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just starting her life. And so autoimmune, you can't get tested for it. It's a series of they have to find out what's going on. It's a series of eliminations. So she starts going through the series of eliminations, and so she was having a hard time, just like, you know, super smart kid. She had shot her short. And so she was a big soccer player in school, and she was like, Dad, I'm going to go see my friend Sam, who I love, who was on her soccer team. I was like, yeah, go get some time. And then we're there, and she was like, you know Sam's not just my friend, right? And I go, I do now. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, are you okay
You knew
with
what that meant when she said it?
Yeah, you know what it was. I go, I do now. And she goes, are you okay with it? And I go, are you okay with it? She goes, I mean, I think so. I was like, babe, I'm more concerned that Sam's white than she's a girl.
Dr. Umar would be proud, Kenya. Yes.
and like, we laughed and we had our moment, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, she went away, she came back, and I swear to God, like within like 2.5, 3 weeks, her hair stopped falling out, like in the sink. She started putting back on her weight. She never found out. And it made me think, and it made me like, I get choked up. Like, I felt like, dude, like the pain and the weight that she had to be carrying around, you know what I'm saying, just in general in the world. And she blossomed. Like, she really blossomed. And I just was like, it meant so much to me that we could have that conversation. At the same time, I felt like if that conversation had been had with my mom, it would have ruined that relationship. My mom would have, it was a different
era. Yeah, different era.
And
well, so she was suffering from depression more so than
absolutely. Or maybe anxiety over it.
Anxiety, stress,
anxiety, depression.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of different things in just the world, you know what I'm saying? But she has blossomed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We love her, we love her girlfriend. Like, she's very like, we joke around with her about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, would you get that from the newly gay sweater store? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have our things, and it's like our relationship has always been that.
That's dope.
But it definitely changed for me what I felt like parenting was.
Is that the reason that you decided to make The Wizard of Oz the way you wanted to make it?
Okay. I was gonna have that character in there no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I have an idea for it. You know what I'm saying? Someone I want to play it. Because I feel like to reflect the world and not reflect that I might, you know, there might be a character, I'm not doing it for political reasons, but there might be a character who has, like, you know, some type of disability. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be a reflection of the world.
So people can see themselves when which they've never done before.
We have to be able to see ourselves. When I did Blackish, one of the biggest stories and one of the things I always remember, first episode of Blackish, Marseille, right? Tanisha, who's the best hairdresser, she put and Roxy wrapped her hair as she was going to bed, right? No big deal, it's pilot. Pilot comes out, you could line the fucking walls with letters. And people here were like, I never saw a girl with her hair wrapped. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we know there had never been anything that had given us that small little thing that had shown people a version of themselves. And so that started being like, it was a key, just like us showing ourselves and showing small versions of stuff. And I feel like that's why, you know, when I did Black AF, which me and him were going to talk about, but when I did Black AF, it was the idea that I wanted to show a different version, you know what I'm saying? But like, it was still, people were like, I hadn't seen this. People were like, I love it, I hate it, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's really important for us to have people who have different layers of who we are, and to people to see themselves. Like, if you don't see yourself, how can you, you know, ever try to see what you may be? If there's nothing that gives you a reflection of yourself, how can you see what that reflection may look like 10 years from now?
So what does it look like when you say, I'm going to have LGBTQ representation? Like, could people hear that and be like, what is it going to be, a yellow dick road? Like Like what is it? like what is that? So, I mean, I know the lion was. So you gonna just go over exaggerate that?
So I'll give you a thing. Like in my dream of dreams, Frank Ocean redoes Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's my dream of dreams. You know what I'm saying? And I would love a character like Rainbow, but I'd love a character who told you that? Clarence, lion-ass Clarence? Like he just becomes the lion, the cowardly lion. And the reason he's cowardly and a lion is because he's trying to put forth something else, and he always is kind of like not really being himself, and it's causing him to not sort of be, as outward and as brave as he should be. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to like turn things in their head. Like,
that makes sense.
The idea of someone being heartless. I want one of Dorothy's cousins in real life to be in the streets and be a fool, and he's kind of like heartless. You know what I'm saying? People be like, man, that nigga's heartless. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's not heartless from the idea of whatever. It's the idea that his heart sort of turned black because he's given up. You know what I'm saying? So I want to take those things and I want to flip them on their head, and I want to talk about where we are today. You know what I'm saying? The things that we sort of like, someone who might be brainless might be a girl who keeps having kids or does this because she feels like she needs something to give love and she's not really good in school. I want to sort of take and flip it on his head, but still make it for families, but show the world today. And I think
that makes sense. That reminds me of the Tupac line. Tupac said, "Brenda got a baby, but Brenda barely got a brain."
Honestly, that's so funny. I want to have that needle drop. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, I want to take and look at the things that we say and how we can use that sort of paradox of what it represented. It was an allegory for the real world, and how can we do that now in a contemporary way?
I always wanted to know, like, when a movie like The Wizard of Oz and you doing the movie over, what's the process of doing a movie over? Can you just pick a movie, be like, hey, I'm doing this over, or is there approvals? Do you have to get? How does that work? Like, if somebody wants to, to do
Wizard of Oz is public domain.
Really?
It's public domain. So I originally, me and Rashida went to Universal because we wanted to do The Wiz over. We were going to write it and she was going to direct it, and her dad did the soundtrack for it. So we were like, we're going to bring it back in. We want to do The Wiz over.
Quincy Jones, by the way.
And they kind of like were like, yeah, but then they kind of were like, I love Donna and Peter so much, but they kind of felt like they were bullshit, and I was like, what's going on? And then I realized that they were doing Wicked, which was this crazy expensive thing, and so they were sort of like, eventually said, we can't like bifurcate this huge thing for us. And so I loved Toby, I loved Courtney Valenti at the time. I went to them and was like, look, we want to do Wizard of Oz. I thought it was I was like, they're going to say no, because it's $200-300 million. What was it? But they were like, we gave them a pitch. They loved the pitch. I wanted this kid, Cole Bennett, to do it. But they were like, when we got into it, they were like, we loved your idea. This is a lot of money for us to give a first-time director. We love how you work with character. We love the story. Would you be interested? And I had to think about it. Richard Pryor had just went away, you know what I'm saying, at least in terms of films. So I was like, went to my family and my team, and I was like, I really want to swing it. I was like, but if I do it, I want to do it. So it's public domain. Warner Brothers owns Ruby Red Slippers and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Each company has something specific with whoever. So I would love to sort of I want to blow it out. I want to make it a spectacle. I feel like I love the 1500 or Nothing guys. You know what I'm saying? I love, having them come in. We've talked about it. There's another composer, Bacon. But I love Rance. I love James. I want to make it where it feels like now us. I want to make it last 50 years, but it also is for everybody.
Do you ever get nervous with a movie that classic and that iconic? Because the company wants you to do better than that movie. Do you ever get nervous, like maybe I shouldn't fuck with that?
So I get a lot of shit because people are like, why you do remakes? Why are you doing some remakes, right? I get a lot of shit, but I feel like I'm not doing it because of lack of ideas. Like, when I saw it, I was thinking of the 25,000 comments. They're like, look, why you gotta do this? I was like, so you're more comfortable with the black and white, all white, version of this? Like, I feel like we just say shit sometimes, But
gotcha.
I do feel like sometimes I look at what the essence of the movie is, And I'm like, I'm not doing a remake, I'm doing a reboot of that thing. And you're starting from a better place in some aspects because you have, people know it, White Men Can't Jump. Like I feel like Calmatic did it. I feel like Jack Harlow killed it, in a way people didn't think are going to be blown away with. Sinqua killed it. I feel like Tiana killed it. I feel like people were in it.
You got my guy Andrew Schultz in there.
Andrew kills it. Andrew kills it. Andrew's doing the Snoop movie too.
Yep.
Right now. But like, I feel like it feels like something for this generation because my kids didn't watch it in the theater. what I'm saying? But it gives it a little bit of a boost. And how do you take that and flip it on its head? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like ultimately, like I wanna do something that feels like we can grow and we can, you know what I'm saying? I really believe when I sold Blackish, we could have sold it a lot of places. I went to ABC because we knew we could come on after Modern Family. And I wanted to come on after the biggest family show. And I made a bet with the producers and execs. I was like, I bet you we beat it on the first night. And we did. Because we show up for each other. You know what I'm saying? It didn't stay like that, but we show up for each other. And that made that show something. It made that show last for as long as it did. And I feel like our real success lies in being a populist. Me and Shar was going back and forth because like sometimes it's like we don't want to do stuff. You know, like sometimes it feels like you're doing stuff just for white people. I was like, but I think that there is a version of like being true to us at the same time reaching the biggest, you know, audience.
The thing about Blackish though, Blackish was just good. Like regardless of whatever, like the cast, the blackness, it was just good. And I wonder sometimes, is wokeness ruining creativity in Hollywood?
100%. 100%. I loved the book Underground Railroad. Barry Jenkins is my boy. I think he's a genius. I think that for some people it came off like trauma porn. You know what I'm saying? Some people weren't really looking. I think he did a beautiful job, you know what I'm saying? But I think that the woke police, especially the ones that are on the internet, you know what I'm saying? Like 10 people can sound like 10,000. You know what I'm saying? And it takes away the opportunity to sort of like let us grow. And I feel like we have to grow. We have to do different stuff. We have to sort of get opportunities to do things differently. And I feel like, and we also have to work together. We're so much stronger. We're finally in the place now where I can call and be like, MB, Char, let's do this. And we don't have to ask permission. You know what I'm saying? Between the three of us, we can just go do it and decide where we want to go. That's never in history been where we're at. Why are we not doing that more? You know what I'm saying? Why are we not taking that power and just going and doing our thing? Instead, we used to have to ask permission. These are conversations. These are calls. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where I think I'm here to talk. You know, one of the things we did was we're doing Intergalactic.
Kid Cudi.
Yeah, which I'm always, I was going to name my production company We'll See Productions because I never want to say shit is dope. Because every time you say that, but I really.
We'll see.
We'll see. But this, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but if the premiere is Wednesday, if y'all want to come, it's crazy.
It's a cartoon, right?
It's an animated show.
It's an animated project. It's really a movie that we broke into chapters. You know what I'm saying? It's the people who did Spider-Verse. It's Tiana Taylor. It's Cudi. It's Timothy Chalamet. It's Jessica. It's
Ty Dolla $ign.
Ty Dolla $ign. Ty is so dope, and the animation is proprietary. You've never seen animation like this. It's the first time an album and a show have ever dropped at the same time, and each track on the album represents a chapter in the show. Wow. There's Easter eggs in it, and I really feel like this is a different swing for us.
Now, Kid Cudi, how did you and Kid Cudi get together to do this?
So I asked Cudi, my daughter, who at the time was my favorite, asked me. She never asked a favor. She was the head of BSU at her school, real white school, Harvard Westlake. She was like, could you ask Cudi if he would come speak to the kids? And I was like,
Did you have a good relationship with Cudi?
Kind of. You know, we knew each other in passing. You know what I'm saying? Didn't pause. He was like, yes. And I was like, what? And so he shows up. It's like 20 kids in BSU. It's 1,500 kids in that auditorium, mostly white. They're crying over him. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you changed my life. And I start realizing like Cudi, like almost created like that emo rap, talking about mental health, talking about depression, talking about love, and the idea of like that melodic singing. Like Travis Scott is Travis Scott because it's Scott Muscudi. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the influence he's had on a generation. And I was like, man, like these kids really fuck with you. And he wanted to do something. He wanted to do a live action. And he wanted to do a show about something about love. And the Mike Moon and Elizabeth Porter, who run the animation division, Netflix was like, we think this should be an animated show. It'd be more expensive and take longer, but we think music with this story, a romantic comedy, could last forever. Cudi took us to the studio. He played the first song. It was mind-blowing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, you could see it. It's so visual. We got into it. We got, you know, Virgil did the costume design, you know what I'm saying? Like that, so, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did which has never been done. We had calls in it. We had, you know what I'm saying, Takashi Murakami, you know what I'm saying? Like, we went everywhere. Like, it paints New York as a real character. You've never seen anything like this. And when we started getting into it, it's another chance for us. And subsequently, it then turned me into, I want to do animation. I'm doing the Bob Marley animated movie for Disney, which is kind of like a love letter to Jamaica.
There's a Bob Marley animated movie for Disney?
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we got the whole the family gave us this first time, we got all the music, and it's like a hero's journey.
Wow.
You know, takes in Maroons. But I got into, like, that's a whole realm that we can get into.
Which we should have been in. The Boondocks should have opened the doors for.
Should have opened the door, but I feel like I love Aaron, it's my boy, but like it was a different time, and like he had a different things. That's the thing that I've been lucky enough to sort of get into being able to sort of make those calls, and people take me serious because I haven't, luckily enough, I haven't like got a lot of a brick, really. You know what I'm saying?
Are you afraid that Kanye might shit on the new Cudi cartoon just because?
Maybe, but he can't. You know what I'm saying? He can do whatever he wants, and Kanye's a genius. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
music, fashion genius.
Fashion genius.
We got to be specific about
You know what it is? Let me say. I think you know what Kanye's problem is? He has a delivery problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not a content problem. It's a delivery problem. You know what I'm saying? What he says, if you break down his content, there's often real shit in there, but his delivery is that of a person who's manic. You know what I'm saying? But he is. I think what he says is. You know, but I don't know. I hope if he shits on it, maybe it'll bring
more attention.
Everybody
will know about it.
It's
right?
crazy. I really want y'all to see it. Like, I really feel like it is. You've never seen anything like this. It's Black love. It's beautiful. It's New York as a character in a way we haven't really seen.
Now, is he cheating in this? I saw the trailer.
You got to see it. I mean, you know,
on the trailer, it looks
happens.
looks like he's cheating from the trailer.
Shit happens. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's classic rom-com. Guy meets girl. Guy loses girl. Guy gets girl back. It's that classic thing, but it's told in a way that feels like us.
And it's on Netflix, so I'm assuming you made things right with Ted Sarantos. Were things ever bad?
Things were never bad.
Okay,
I got one call. I did when I left to go do Viacom, and I left for Viacom because they gave me a percentage of ownership
in BET Studios,
and that had never happened. You know what I'm saying? And I got to bet on myself and see the board stuff. And Scott Mills and those guys gave me a deal I could not pass up. I did an article. In the article, they highlighted that I said Netflix has become the new CBS. And they made a big deal of it. So I'm fucking asleep, and I get my phone is ringing, and it's Ted Sarandos. And he's like, it's a text. He's like, dude, what have I ever done bad to you? But do this. And I'm like, that's not, you don't want Bruce Wayne hitting your face, you know what I'm saying, hitting your phone at fucking 5:30 in the morning. I hadn't even read it. And I'm like, oh shit, he really did change my life. I remember telling my white producing partner at the time, I was like, man, this is horrible. He's like, that's not the call you want. And he is a dude, this is what, let me tell you, he said, no, that's not the call you don't want. And it stuck with me.
Explain it.
He was like, you don't want to not be able to get that call. He's like, that.
Okay,
he was like, that's the place that you want. He's like, it's not, you may not want that being said. He said, but that's not the call. He said, that's the call you don't want to not get. And, you know, we have a good relationship. We have a Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill movie coming out, big movie.
Andrew's in that too, right?
Andrew's in that. Ben Staple, you know what I'm saying, is coming out. We have 50. We have a ton of
Fat Joe.
Fat Joe, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's at Showtime.
That's yeah. So you've been still able to work with Disney, with Netflix, with all the companies. You still have a good relationship.
How? We talked about this.
I know.
It's relationships. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what people forget. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Shar, when everything happened, it was crazy, and we got
happened?
When it just was nothing big. When he said, "I don't like Black AF," I said in the
same article with Ted Sarandos.
Said same article with Ted Sarandos.
Which I appreciate.
I go, Malcolm Gladwell and such and such. Like I was like, you think I care? Charlamagne doesn't like it, and it was the way it was put was fucked up, and it was also a joking thing, whatever. But it came off like that's my brother, and you know what I'm saying. It came off like I'm saying
belittling him,
you know what I'm saying, and it was like, you know, what's our boy's name?
Van,
like broker, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, and I called Sean. We had talked before, and I was like, I love what you do. I think that you are, you know what I'm saying, one of one at which the show has become. You know what I'm saying? It is I was like, but they take and look for anything, and I'm still getting new to the whole publicity thing. They look for anything to separate us. And I was like, together, we're supposed to be doing a show. I was like, together, they can't stop us. You know what I'm saying? And that's when we started talking, and we ended up having like a 3-4 hour conversation about everything under the sun. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I like that we disagree. We're disagreeing and arguing about that. But I was like, together, they can't stop us. If we really sort of have these conversations and actually push one another, we're bigger than them, and they're afraid of that. You know what I'm saying?
And you are trying to bring Black AF back, right?
I would love to do Black AF again. I put Black AF, I put Black AF just as like miss it, whatever, on my Instagram recently. Look at it's like 30,000 comments. Like everywhere I go, people are like, "Where's season 2?" You know what I'm saying?
I did like that show, by the way. I said that I watched the whole series. I thought it was pretty funny, but I also felt like it kind of reminded me, like, Envy, did you watch it? I feel like it could have been kind of like Envy's Family too. You know, because
somebody who doesn't know me said it was your family.
I'm telling you, when you watch it,
was my family though. This
is a little bit different.
Because it's kind of like
they told me the young boy, it looks like Logan.
It's kind of like a family that has money and
the
certain
cars
things
and stuff
and the cars and and just also like there were certain conversations on there that I understood. Like I always said, the Amex points one. That is me all day. I play with
those are my points.
Or when they did the was it shrooms or ecstasy or something?
That happened to me. I saw my daughter at Coachella, and I'm high, and I'm like, "Are you high?" She goes, "No." "Are you high?" And I go, "No." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Okay." And I walk away, and I'm like, I can't discipline her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's wrong. But it was those moments, like, I love being able to talk about those moments. But
you think it's like a niche audience more for it?
Well, it's crazy. When I was just in Atlanta, we're doing the Snoop movie, I cannot tell you how many people come up to me and like, but I love Black as Fuck. Like, people really seem like they fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Black has changed my life. But I think Black as Fuck, for where we're at now, we hadn't seen us be able to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
even looking at artwork, you know how people try to get like artwork and like this is so, but they don't even understand what it is.
I didn't understand what it was. I got Knowledge Bennett, who's my boy. I bought this expensive ass piece of Black art, and I remember my wife was like, "What have you done?" You know what I'm saying? "How much did this cost?" And I was afraid to tell her. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, because I'm like, I don't really know art. You know what I'm saying? I just buy what I. But like those kind of conversations, that kind of stuff, I feel like those are the stuff that I want to talk about. Those are the things, and I think that
that's like, well, that's like for a group of people. Like even for myself, like 6 kids, wife, same thing. Like you try to experience different things, and you know, people say my kids are spoiled and this, that, and the other. You go through the gamut, but you know, but having those relationships, I like if I ever get high, my wife has no clue, no idea. My wife gets what, but my daughter knows. So my daughter be holding me down. My daughter be like, "Yo, mom's coming, go." But it's the same type of thing.
But that's the conversation I would have in the show. That if you said that before, people would be like, "That's too, you can't do it." But that's the life we're living on. The biggest thing I realize in the conversation, we are finally at the place where I can call Jay Brown or call him Lassiter or Jay-Z or you know, Pharrell or Charlotte or y'all, you know what I'm saying? And we can do stuff without having to ask. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that we have to, the problem is we have to do it at the right level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we execute, we got to execute and really make sure we hit it home. We don't get as many chances of them. And that's sometimes when it's like being able to be real with your boys and be like, "Yo, this isn't it." That's a hard, and you know, you don't know if he's going to be like, "Are you a hater?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, "No, man, like I'm telling you, in my opinion, you don't have to believe me. This isn't it, and this is what I would do to help you. This is my opinion. I can give you the right people." And that's what it tries to become is our Rolodex. It's like, who's the best editor? Right. You know what I'm saying? Who's the best sound man? You know what I'm saying? Who's the best fashion person? And you know that if I'm saying this, I've done it enough time to really be able to give you a level of expertise and a level of things that I'm going to give you context to it.
Absolutely. What made you want to star in Black AF? I mean, you know, you got these big deals everywhere. You got the life as a producer.
Right.
You got the
because I wanted to say stuff. We had someone who I love. We had someone who I love, you know, stuff. Pick for it. Rashida didn't want that person. It was a big actor, and she was like, "I want you." She was like, "I want how you do it." She was like, "I'm not an actor." She was like, "I like that." She's like, Larry David was an actor.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm type of feel.
That's what it was. I wanted to do Black Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I was like, the way to really do that is to do it, and to say that that's where we got. And I feel like I wasn't winning any awards, but I feel like when I look back, I don't think people could have done what I did.
Yeah, I mean, from the episode I've seen, but it's. Like Charlamagne said, I don't want to say it's a niche market, but it's a lot of people that will not understand it the same way, right? Like I seen one where I don't remember what it was. You wore your chain somewhere, but that's me.
Yeah.
When I go to my kid's school, I'm the dad wearing the chains and all the other parents are looking at me crazy. But that is me. You know what I mean? I'm the one that's driving the Ferrari to the football game, and the other kids, that is me. But I understand and I get it. Yeah. But I'm just who I am regardless. I don't care if I'm in the white world, black world, it doesn't matter. That's I am.
And I'm like that, but then sometimes it gets to me, because like I'll be driving up in, whatever car, and we're bumping, right? And then my kids get there, they start turning down the music. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you want to be a nigga on the way here. But once you get here, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the meeting and I look around and all of a sudden I'm like kind of slowly tugging my chain because I'm like, do I look like I'm like saying like we have to live in a world where we're questioning ourselves, because you get to a certain financial status where it's not a lot of us around. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, I still want to keep it real, but then at the same time you still want to be a parent. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's that duality. And I feel like I definitely feel like we got to get together. And we, just in the diaspora alone, if we didn't sell anything in America, and somebody told Trevor Noah told me this, the diaspora alone, like people didn't know how big we and Trevor Noah took a show before he got on the Daily Show, and he couldn't get arrested. We had a show going out, and then he got the Daily Show. He was the biggest comic in the world at the time, and they didn't know because they don't look at us like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't look at, outside the world, people are more brown than they are other things. And if we just tapped into certain markets, tapped into like how we can do our thing, this Indian couple came up to me at Soho House and was like, oh my God, I'm doing it bad. I don't know if that's racist, but
that was very racist.
If it feels wrong, don't do it.
That was race-ish, racist-ish.
But he was like, I'm the CEO of I think it was like the Indian version of Spotify. Where he tells me, he was like, basically Black AF is like Friends in India. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what? But like they'll never say that to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the idea of like, we have to sort of get together. That's why people like I look at Jay as a mentor. JL is my mentor. You know what I'm saying? I want to, if those people have lived a life and can teach me stuff in a different way, but I have to be open to it. But I really feel like I want to get like a year late. The Reggie Hudlin used to do it. I want to do a lunch, a weekend with people like us once a year, invite only, you know what I'm saying? People who don't need anything, you know what I'm saying? But when we come together, what we can come out of that brunch with is just power. You know what I'm saying? Like you get people together and like we can come out, you know how many projects would be set up? Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we started, it's interesting, we started doing that a couple of years ago with Dez and everybody at Rock Nation. That turned into the United Justice Coalition.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Jay Brown just said he wants to start doing. But like, if we could get a weekend, and I'd hop onto that. But if we could get a weekend, the thing is sometimes you don't want people who are like pitching you because they need it. And there's nothing wrong with that
for a different reason.
Right? You know what I'm saying? But I want people who can like get together and we have ability and know-how, and we know we can come together and we don't need to go ask. You know what I'm saying? That the things that we're doing, we're deciding where it's going to be, not if it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And the thing we have to get together is on the execution. We need to know, it's good to have a black DP, but is he dope? Right. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have a black director, but are they dope?
That's
right. You know what I'm saying? Like I looked at, I walked with Steph Curry. I got to meet Steph Curry. His bodyguard was like, Steph Curry wants to meet you. I was like, what? And I was like, he walked over and I was like, dude, you're so much better at your job than me. You know what I'm saying? But like Steph was like, I'm trying to get in the film. And he was like asking me, and I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the idea that we are finally there, and if we pull together, like we don't need anybody. I mean, I'm saying I'm not saying it like we don't need anybody, but we don't, the ideas and what we're doing, but we do need to execute at a really high level.
What matters more, talent or diversity?
Talent always trumps, right? You know what I'm saying? I feel like, but it's important for us to include diversity, because if you don't let that group of people if you have 3 DPs, right? 2 white and 1 black. And the black one the white one's 100, the other white one was a 96, and the black one's a 92. I'm gonna hire the 92. Because I feel like he hasn't gotten the right training usually. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't gotten the opportunities because he may become 100. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the black one's at 83, I'm gonna hire one of the white dudes because I still want movie to, but I feel like if someone's almost as good, we haven't gotten an opportunity to get the training And if he's put the work in to do there, if I can help him get there, to me, that's what we need to do. We need to get in the rooms. We need to, like, y'all can teach people how to do this at a level, but will they listen? How many times have you tried to give people information and they want to, like, they want to, reinvent the world? And you're like, yeah, but, like, it's like jazz. People hear, and I'm like, those dudes can do that because they're the best musicians in the world. They're not just playing riff. They know music better than everyone else, so they can then re-break it down. They didn't just start off doing that. And sometimes I think there's so many opportunities with particularly youth culture that they feel like I got it, and you don't have it.
That's right.
You may eventually get it, but you need people who are really trying to actually come in and help you. And I think the problem is that sometimes the old heads or people come in and they want to take that. They're not going to try to empower that person. They're going to try to take it over from that person. And so there's a lot of mistrust. You know what I'm saying? So I think us getting together and talking about how we can sort of like get a group of us in a situation who don't know each other but have ideas, we could walk out of that weekend and change the world.
Question: you created Blackish with Anthony Anderson, right?
I created it, Blackish.
You created Blackish, but Anthony, y'all did it together initially.
No.
I thought y'all pitched it together. And everything.
No, we did pitch it together. Me and Anthony go back and forth. Anthony is my brother. Okay. I created it. Lawrence was actually on first. You know what I'm saying?
Fishburne, okay.
And then we brought Anthony in because me and Anthony had the same manager. He definitely did it with me. You know what I'm saying? We always would joke with it, but like I created it. You know what I'm saying? There were stories in there that were based around Anthony's life, Lawrence's life, whatever. But we did do it together. He never worked for me. He always worked with me. You know what I'm saying? But I did create it.
Because I was going to ask, when you did Black AF, did they feel a way?
Yeah. They wouldn't say it, but yeah, it felt like, one, I had left. You know what I'm saying? One, it was a version of what people could consider Blackish, but they were friends, you know what I'm saying? And they loved me. But I'm sure it was, they felt way even more. They said stuff, but I'm sure they felt way even more than they said, but they were supportive. And I told Anthony, I was like, I hope I get nominated for this. I hope I win so I can get up on stage and be like, acting, not that hard. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't have to write and produce and direct this, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do what he does. We're going to do something else together. That's my brother. Tracy's my sister. But I feel like, it made them. That's the thing, too. Whenever you start to have success and growth, people around you sometimes feel away. Hate is not necessarily the word. It's just the idea that they start feeling like, do you feel like you're too good? Do you feel like, have you forgotten about us? You know what I'm saying? Are you using this or whatever? And so they never hated on me, but I definitely feel like it was uncomfortable at certain points.
Do you feel the pressure to create like another smash hit universe like the Issues? Because it was Blackish, it was Grownish, it's Mixed. You feel the pressure to create another universe like that? I
feel the pressure to, like, we're doing Girls Trip. We're doing another Girls Trip. You know
I keep hearing that's not happening because nobody wants to pay the women the money.
That's happening.
Okay.
It's happening. It's officially happening.
Officially happening.
Okay.
Does Queen Latifah know this?
I mean, they wouldn't make my deal. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't make the deal. We're not, you know what I'm saying? Me and Tracy aren't cheap. They wouldn't make our deal if it wasn't happening.
Is it in New Orleans again?
It's written in every day. I was going to ask, is it in New Orleans?
We have, I can't give you a thing, but the script is in process. The deals, whatever. But
that's great news.
But like that example is like, Will is my brother, you know what I'm saying? And like, he shouldn't have to ask. He's had so much success, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we are now at the point where I definitely feel like the way that you limit those askings, and like Char was like, we were talking, and then I was like, I got to the point now where I don't really pitch. More so it's like relationships. And I try to tell young people, like, it's relationships. It's how you fuck with people. Watch who you step on your way up because you'll see them on your way down.
That's right.
Respect everybody. Know every PA's name. Know every gaffer's name. They have families. They're doing their job to take care of their families. You're nobody's better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I've been lucky enough at this point. Who knows when it changes? Most of the times it's calls. You know what I'm saying? It's calls and says, rather than going, it's calls and say like, this is the idea. I'll give a thing, and they're like, let's go and do it. The idea that we can, Char's at Audible. You know what I'm saying? If we were like, yo, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's do Envy and Angela as a married couple. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, they'd be like,
maybe Evie and Charlamagne doesn't marry.
That'd be hard.
That would be better.
That could work.
That's what we should call it too. That'd be hard.
That'd be
And it could be like a Bert and Ernie reimagining, because they were, I'm telling you, that's the groundwork.
But we could make that call now. Rather than having to go pitch it, we can make that call. And the thing is, I have to, Charlotte was like, well, why aren't you making it? I was like, because I can't, I got to watch how many calls I make. You know what I'm saying? Because and he was like, yo, I respect it. He was like, I didn't think, the notion of, we only can do that when you produce. You know what I'm saying? And it used to be, I remember I came in the office and they were like, Steven Spielberg wants to see you. And I was like, oh shit, Spielberg. I'm driving over to the office and I'm like, hold on, why does Steven Spielberg want to see me? This is about to be on some black shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, and I was kind of pissed and I was like, I should turn around. And I walk in and they were thinking about redoing Raiders of the Lost Ark and having like Idris Elba take over for like a handoff. You know what I'm saying? And it was Dan Fogelman, who's a good friend of mine who does everything. But it was the idea, I heard it and I was like, this is a good idea. And it changed me from that point on. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop having that idea about now only call me with the black call. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to change the narrative of that and stop being like, I care. But the black call you give me, I'm going to get the right budget. I'm going to get people paid. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure that I have the right people shooting it, the right people editing it. It's going to be a Fincher movie.
So it was bothering you to be like the go-to black guy?
Yes. It was bothering me because I didn't want to just do, in my mind, I was like, I don't want to just do black shit. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to fucking be like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be the best black basketball player, the best black, that you want to be the best. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there was a moment where it hit me and I did say to myself, I was like, you get into a thing and I was like.
We definitely had that debate because I was like, you had all the success with Blackish. Girls Trip made $100 million and now you afraid to be the black guy?
Yeah. And
I didn't understand that.
But I mean, that moment we were talking, I was like, yo, because I don't want to, I didn't want to like just be that, you know what I'm saying? But then I start realizing like, I can be that and we can make that the thing. You know what I'm saying? We can make a movie with all black characters, not a black movie, but a movie with all black characters written by black people. That's the movie.
And it's important for you to be that because who else is going to recognize Vince Staples needs to be in a TV show?
Absolutely.
We've been seeing that for years. Like, yo, Vince should be on television.
Absolutely.
Who's going to do a Kid Cudi cartoon if
Fat
not
Joe.
you?
Fat Joe's the
Who's
best.
Who's going to do Fat Joe?
Best storyteller in my entire life.
Absolutely.
Fat Joe can tell you a
Easily.
story about going to the liquor store and you're just sitting there like.
Easily.
You know what I'm saying? Tell it again, Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like people don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so once I started embracing my lane, you know what I'm saying, but realized I'm going to embrace my lane but just embrace it at a super high level. You know what I'm saying? And my dad told me this shit before he passed. He was like, yo, when you're with your boys, ask them what their $1 million plan is. And if they don't have one, you kind of got to exercise yourself from that group. He was like, and I was like, why? He was like, because they're going to hate on your plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys, he's like, it's not about the money. He's like, you got to have people around you who have ways that they feel like they're going to make their bag. That way you guys grow. If somebody doesn't have their way and they want to they'll either hate on yours, try to piggyback on yours, y'all need to have things that you can grow together on. And I feel like we're now at the place where it's enough of us to do what we want to do and really do it at a high level. And I feel like that to me that's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? I learned from Jay-Z. I never forget the moment, like one of the first like conversations. The two conversations, but Jay I was at a Fear of God event, right? And I'm like, oh, it's Jay-Z. And I got stickers and shit. And Jay walks over to me and he, walks over to me, he's come over to me and he goes, yo, congratulations on your success. And I was like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck? And I realized what he did at that moment was so important. You know what I'm saying? Like, he
validated you.
He saw me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he saw me and he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And it changed. And so later on, he brought me in to listen, him and Guru and No ID, like to listen to 444 because he wanted to do like a visual, like a movie around it. And we talked, like really talked. And I just was like, I'm still trying to like, not be a fan, but sometimes you want to be a fan. Sometimes you don't want to get, but it was like he really has laid the blueprint out in so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? And I have found that he actually tries to empower, you know what I'm saying, Black people. And I feel like it is, I'm learning from Tyler, I'm learning from Jay-Z, I'm learning from Russell, I'm learning from, you know, from Puff, I'm learning from their mistakes, from their things, whatever. But I feel like the idea that I really want us all to get together, you know what I'm saying, and like, let's, like, nobody in this space knows radio like y'all. You know what I'm saying? The idea of what you have learned, you've forgotten more than you know what I'm saying, than most people know. And I feel like
Jay-Z bar.
Is that what he says?
I don't forgot more than you've ever learned. What you don't know will make your home a permanent urn, nigga.
That's the truth. Like, I feel like how we can sort of take that next generation and come together. And it's not about free. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this because I'm super altruistic. I want if I can get a bag too. But we need that next generation. I saw Judd Apatow, what he did with all those kids he worked with, you know what I'm saying? And now he's working for them in some aspects. He was smart enough to sort of get those kids, bring them up, and then be able to produce their movies and keep them going. And I feel like we need that next generation, but we got to come together first.
Absolutely.
Now, you also have the record label, and then you have the book deal. And so is it like a book imprint publishing deal? And then you have the Audible deal. So how are you, and am I missing anything?
I have a film of a piece of the studio, and I have a film deal at Paramount.
Okay, so the BET Studios, is that what it is? Okay, and then what else? Paramount, you have the...
and I'm a marketing thing that, you know what I'm saying, just doing sort of a brand ambassadoring for, you know what I'm saying, trying to create that for, and a big scale, you know what I'm saying, because I think that is something that's a check we're leaving on a thing. Like the NIL stuff, you know what I'm saying, like that to me is like, we need people who know how to like become brand ambassadors. So, you know, but that was, what I'm finding out is I need the right team to get that together, because I really just want to write. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm, but all those other companies are companies. And so you need the right team who you can trust. And I feel like you got to pay them. And to me, I don't want to just pay people. I want them to get a piece. Because people will work way differently for you when they work with you, not for you. I don't believe anybody works for me. And I want them to get a piece, because then we're all working toward this floating.
Same goal.
But finding those people, you know what I'm saying, that's the hardest part of all.
But that's why when you find them, like you said, you got to give them some equity.
You got to give them some equity.
Yeah.
And people are, you know what I'm saying, that whole thing, that's that old mentality where people are like, I want it all mine. I'd rather a little slice of a big pie than a big piece of nothing.
Word.
We got the text. Ken, you got to go.
Oh.
I'm sure he does.
Intergalactic is out on the 30th.
Yeah.
Friday.
What else this year? Intergalactic? That's
the Jonah Hill, You People is coming
with
out.
Jonah and Eddie Murphy. And Lauren London's in that too.
Lauren London, she kills it. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We got
the Underdogs.
Underdogs with Snoop is coming out. White Man Can't Jump.
That's all coming out this year?
They're all coming out within the next year.
Okay.
We're doing Above the Rim. We're doing the Wally Amos story, which is
Above the Rim.
Doing Above the Rim.
Wow.
We're doing the Wally Amos story, which is Famous Amos, which is the craziest story you've ever.
The cookie company?
It's insane. He's a cookie impresario. You know what I'm saying? He created the gourmet cookie, and like was driving around in a yellow Benz. You know what I'm saying? Like smacking bras. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a cookie god.
Like a cookie pimp?
He was.
Wet.
He was the first black agent in William Morris. He signed Marvin Gaye and
I had no idea.
Garfinkel and Simon.
Wow.
Like he was, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're doing that. We're doing Richard Pryor as a series now. You know what I'm saying? As a limited series. Bob Marley, we're doing, you know, we have a lot of stuff that we're doing, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like once again, I would work with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I want to do something with y'all. I feel like we talked about everything. I'm saying, like, but you know, me and Charlie trying to do some stuff together. I would love, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I want to learn, but I really feel like I want us to come together. And like, why can't we just take shit over? It's ego. It's ego. We can't work together. And I feel like if we get the business out the way and start realizing that, why do I need 80-20 to you? You know what I'm saying? Let's fucking make deals that everybody wants to work on, and let's like really sort of grow.
I love collaboration. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, everybody at the top is collaborating. The people that are competing aren't the people at the top.
Yeah,
all my best situations are collaborations.
Collaborations. I'm fucking Bill Gates wrote Steve Jobs a check to keep Apple open because he knew that if Apple closed, he would be under racketeering charges because he'd have too much of the business. And so he went and wrote a personal, I don't know, $150, $200 million check. Dude, keep your company open. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, and we're first generation, most of us, first generation success. That's a really crazy thing. Most of us are first generation success of this level in our family. So we are doing really well. But now it's time to help our kids. But the way we do it is we have to get together. Yeah. I need to talk to you about like, how's your nanny situation? I need to talk to you about like, how's your wife's situation? I need to talk to you about the real estate thing. Like we got to come together and really put the ego aside, you know what I'm saying? And not, you know what I'm saying? We got to.
When you said my nanny situation, I'm like, did my nanny call you or something?
That's why I walk around with this book right here. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Classic. Go get it.
Your ego's
man, I
not
love
your
working
ego.
with other people, man. I love people who bring other skills to the table that I don't have, what I know I can't do.
Yeah.
You know, that they can do. So I think it's perfect.
But that's what I want. I want to work with the best. You know what I'm saying? That's how you become the best.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Can you Barris, y'all?
Thank you, guys.
Barris, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you for joining us.
Man, I appreciate it. I'm sorry it took me this long, but I'm glad we got here.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
I love it.